All right, welcome back. I'm doing the part 2 of day 4 24-hour startup sales challenge. And in the first segment, we took a look at Manuel's app called surveyval.app. And we went through and gave some feedback on the idea, better understanding who is it for, who is already serving this market, how are they currently doing it, and then possible ways to reach out to people to validate that we know or confirm who it is we're solving problems for, and that start a conversation to see how it can create value for them to use SurveyVal as part of a pre-launch. And this time we're going to be doing part 2. In part 2, I have much less time from my meeting earlier today or previous in the middle of the day. So what I'm going to do is we're going to jump right into the second one. Podcast into an Alexa skill. Good night. Protect your intellectual property. What's that about? So there was something else recently that launched on Product Hunt related to IP. So let's see. That lets you get any file time-stamped by 8,000 blockchain. Now legally valid in certain US states and China. So Sina created this. Let's check out what Sina's about. Oh, from NoCal. Awesome. Former 916 representing. Okay. Let's check out the site. I feel good about this. Ooh. Blockchain that's legally valid in Wyoming. I heart Wyoming. I am very lucky to be able to spend a lot of my time there, more than I ever thought I would. When I was younger, I would dream about it as the epitome of like the wide open spaces of the United States. Growing up in New York, I really thought when people thought of America, they didn't really mean Manhattan. They meant somewhere where they grow beef or they grow the cows and they're like beef ranchers. That's really their definition of America. But going to Wyoming, it is still very pioneer country, and a live and let live place. And we don't charge you a penny. You pay transaction fees. Okay. Sorry, that tangent was about how blockchain timestamps are legally valid in the following states and in China, which gives us the specific logistical market that we can go for. And I'm confused how it's free. All right, we're doing this. So, Is it .com? Claim B, buy. I want to call it Claim B. Claim B.com for our startup sales week live stream. Do we want emojis? I'll do a little camera one. Cool. So this question of how to set up MetaMask in Chrome. Okay, so let's make some observations. All right, so sales challenge. We are helping Claim B, Claim Buy. .com, which is a blockchain IP protection. Digital files creations. So it's free, which I take this challenge for the sales challenge. I am going to take on free product. So trademark, copyright, go all the way and hire professional services. Let's talk about this. Oh, nice. These should be affiliate links. Free product with affiliate upsells for registering TMs and copyrights. Searching. So this is copywriting. Which is different than copywriting. This is copywriting the C in a circle. So I'm sure there is copyright emoji. This has to exist. Yep, this thing. That. So usually this is copyright, and then you have the year. So 2018. Verification on the blockchain timestamp, or verification with blockchain timestamp. Ideas, patents, value for any intellectual property is accepted. Well, it helps that it's digital. Rather than like a handwritten letter. Things that matter. Blockchain timestamps have been ruled legally admissible. So when I went on the tangent about ZCA I don't remember the two-letter acronym for China. CN, maybe? You only pay standard transaction fees, normal. So already launched. PH. I think I know Andrew. I do love that there's a quote. So this has awesome verify claim. Oh, okay. All right. So now that you've done a product hunt launch, I wonder if there's a write-up. Or maybe something on the main. Okay, not that. There was a topic related to intellectual property. There was like a whole sub channel. I wonder how that went. Was I wrong about that? All right, let's find out how often people talked about Claim B. Claim by. Okay. What would I do next? So I want to say the amazing things that Claim B has got going on. So in the period of 24 hours, Claim B has created the ability to upload a file, get back a cryptographic hash that has a timestamp on the blockchain to legally protect the existence of some kind of digital intellectual property that has been proven to be legally valid in several states and China, encrypted, free. It's on your permanent record, the permanent blockchain record, verifiable by any third party. It has a quote by people, someone who has used it before, and then has upsell offers to register a trademark, register a copyright. And it has a small requirement. This requires DAP. Assume and smart contract. So what do I want to do? Well, you've already had the major launch-based one-time traffic, which means now how do we focus on getting people to talk about it when it's not related to a launch, but that they're actually looking or using something like this. So let's see. So post launch to users to a free product or service. I wanted to see, is it PatentBot? There was another recent legal bot. Featured 8 days ago. Okay, so there was a time. How do they do this? Timestamps are copyright on the blockchain. Okay, so check availability. Okay. Trademark is not the same thing as copyright. I think that needs to be specified. So anyone who's doing DIY legal, there is a difference between a copyright, a trademark, and a registered or service mark at SM. So each of them are slightly different. And what ClaimBuy is doing, and what I think this PatentBot is doing too, a patent is not a trademark. They're both legal protections. Well, let's get back to ClaimBuy. This is not Claim. Where's the ClaimBuy one? Hash blockchain transaction serves as your proof. I would like examples of this. To use a free service, okay, is there something else related to ClaimBuy? Funnel Hacker. Well done. All right. I am now currently in a state where blockchain timestamps are legally admissible. But if I were a creative or designer inventor who wanted to protect my original ideas and creations. So there are a few assumptions that I'm making in this. So if I write a song, for example, which Sina seems to be into from the Twitter profile, which was music startup. Awesome. Okay. So here are the assumptions that we're making. Next assumption is I'm looking for a free solution. So the old school copyright technique that I'm talking about old school because I think I heard about it when I was like, okay, I was small. This must have been years and years ago, but it's to create the original work of art, print it, put it in the mail, and the post office letter mark serves as a copyright to show that inside the contents of that are the proof that you have created the idea when. So that's also admissible in court everywhere in the US. And that's the super old school around the way to take care of your copyright and protect your intellectual property. So the idea that you can timestamp on the blockchain, that sounds great. So I'm looking for a free solution to protect my ideas. Yes. So with these assumptions, how do I talk to people? Now, we're doing all of this, and we have to make sure that all of these are true before someone is going to upload whatever document to create the hash. What are the upsells? Trademark and registering a copyright. FAQ me. Six months, 2 to 10 months for claims that go through the web. I could use that. claim. Web claim. Also, I would do an upsell. What I would like to see, options are you in the US or China? That's the first step. And then once I'm in the US, tell me what state are you in? If they are in one of the legally admissible states, or actually they're in the US and they enter any state, I would say they could use it, but it has not been proven legally admissible except in blah, blah, blah states, and that's subject to change. And I would put an immediate link to register your trademark, your thing here to my corporation. That's the flow of how I would do that. What state are you in? I would say so non-legal or non-verified state. And B, it has not been state yet. And then what's it called? The U.S. Patent Office? Pretty sure it's it might not be called the Patent Office. They might have a different name. The Copyright Office. And then if it is a verified state, basis. I say that because the people who are using claim by are doing a copyright. This process where the date and you're protecting an idea is known as copyright, or as copywriting. A trademark definition. How do I explain that? That has a different process. It means something else. And a timestamp does not define trademark. See, this is the patent office. Okay. I think you need to specify this. This is what is actually happening with ClaimBuy, is it's establishing a copyright on the blockchain. Protects original works of authorship, literary, dramatic, musical, artistic works, architecture, or any digital idea. Duration of the copyright depends on factors created by an individual. Protection lasts life of the author plus 70 years. For works created anonymously, lasts 95 years from the date of publication, or 120 years from the date of creation, whichever is shorter. So when you protect your idea, it's good for at least 95 years. That's what you're really doing. Now, a patent is completely different. It's a limited duration property right relating to the invention granted by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, the USPTO. Public disclosure of the invention. So this is not what we're doing with ClaimBuy, but there are people who might be interested in it. We need to talk about that. What else do you have on here? No, just trademarks. Okay. Well, you need a trademark. Register trademark. I think you need to describe what a copyright is. I think I said that up here in my notes earlier. I like this a lot. And then with China, I have no idea what the legal jurisdiction timeline is for copyright in China, but it's available. I'm not going to go looking for it. Pat, you're from Jackson Hole? OMG. I'm in Casper a lot. So, like, can you explain what the 24-hour challenge is? I find that there are people on. Hey. Oh, go Pokes. My partner is a Wyoming alum, so I got to go on campus and learn that the phrase is go Pokes. And I think Wyoming has the coolest license plate in the entire country with the cowboy and the yellow and the brown. I think that is awesome. So I also like going to Thermopolis, which is the hot springs, natural hot springs that are in Wyoming. Totally amazing. So I have a lot of love for the state of Wyoming. So the person who just joined Easy Forge Ogre, how can you explain what is a 24-hour challenge? Sales challenge. So the 24-hour startup is, I'm combining things or working on top of things, which is the first one is the 24-hour startup challenge is where you live stream going from idea to something finished so that you can ship within a limited time frame of 24 hours. Some people actually are awake for almost 24 hours. Some do it within a day. Yesterday or 2 days ago, the person who I was helping did it within a 13-hour window. But the idea is that you give yourself a start and an end, and at the end of it, you are done and you have to push it out to the world. So that's the idea of what a 24-hour challenge is. And how I'm doing that theme is I'm live streaming the process of going from I have no idea what any of these companies are to how would I help them create sales and find customers. So I'm doing that over the course of this week. So during the week, I am doing different sessions to help 6 different shippers or indie makers or indie hackers to figure out how would I go from I know nothing about what you're doing to here's how I'd go get you customers or go get your revenue. So it's still a similar process where I am delivering something at the end of a time frame where I'm starting from nothing, which is I don't know anything about the companies or the products or startups that I'm looking for until they're until I'm picking them. So I had not heard about ClaimBuy. I don't know anything about Cena or have any particular, I'm not involved or have any horse in the race for anybody. But I do think that the 24-hour community is amazing because people are actually getting things done rather than just dreaming about it, which a lot of people get stuck in when they want to make a change, but then it's so far away from what their day-to-day looks like that they don't move forward with it. And I really admire the community of people that can come together and say, all right, I'm going to do something. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm going to put myself out there and be vulnerable in the fact that I'm going to run into things I have no idea how to fix it, which is where the live streaming comes in, where people who are watching can see how I fumble or see how I mince words or see how I get squirreled. And then still move forward. So it makes it become, you feel more human about what is the process of creation and getting things out there. So that's what the 24-hour startup sales challenge week is, because I believe that everyone who's doing the 24-hour startup, they're all winners, whether or not they win the competition or not, and that it isn't over after 24 hours. So after 24 hours, you have something that exists in the wild, aka it's published on the internet. But does that mean that they're ready to accept money? Does that mean that they know how to get customers? Maybe, maybe not, but then you keep moving forward step by step. So that's about what the 24-hour startup sales challenge is, how it works, and I'm live streaming. So I'm doing this afternoon, and then tomorrow I'm doing a morning session, I think from 9 to 1, and then that's the last one. And then for that session, or 8 to 12, I have... for Friday, it's an entirely one-on-one Q&A style sales challenge. So the ones that I've been doing this week have all been, I pick someone at random, I kind of go at it, and then I send them all my stuff, and then we talk about it, or we do DMs or emails, and we say, okay, well, this is cool. I like what you're thinking about this. I had this idea, and the one that's different for tomorrow is that it's going to be me and another guy who has, I think it's called Change Log Host or Change Host Log. Yes, changelog.host, I think is the name of the app. And that's the only one that's been preset, but I have not looked at it at all because I want to have that from fresh eyes perspective just for everyone to go on the journey with me. And I wanted to do it over different days because not everyone can attend at the same time. Now, even if I could stream for 24 hours straight, I doubt I would have 24-hour watchers at the same time. So I wanted people to be able to come in and look while they can watch, but also to see different types of startups and ideas go to a path to revenue. So it's been a Chrome extension, it's been a SaaS, it's been a curated community list, and now it's been a free blockchain app. So all of these have the possibility of generating money, which is something that is very exciting because people often wonder, well, sure, you can make money when you're Salesforce or when you're Dropbox, but not when you're me. But I don't know I don't think that that's true. So we're going through different examples of, well, how could anyone get to a path to revenue from building something of value? So I hope that helps. Explain how that works. Let's see. What else is there? Okay. All right, I think I'm caught up with chat. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Easy Forge Ogre, for asking questions and joining me in the chat and following along. So I have back on my notes, what I'm going through is the flow of where we're at now. How do we get assumptions to get people to, one, use it? So when we're using this claim by intellectual property that's verified on the blockchain, we're assuming that we can do, we're assuming these things. I know what copyright means, as in I know why I'm what is the mechanism that protecting my intellectual property? Like, what is that? We're doing a copyright. We're assuming that I know how blockchain works, and if I don't, there should be a how does blockchain work somewhere. But that's not on here. So we're definitely assuming that this is for a crypto familiar crowd. We're also assuming that I know how to use MetaMask or another type of browser that works. But since we're going Chrome and MetaMask, I think that's what everyone's using. We're assuming that's happening. There we go. Let's move this down because there's some things we're technically assuming. They're blockchain people, or they have some understanding of it. And then if they know what copyright means, you're looking for a free solution, you're probably interested in further legal traditional protection services, which is registering a trademark or registering a copyright with the U.S. Copyright Office or patent, the PTO. So, and those are the ways that this site is going to monetize. And then what I'm going through here is, well, how would I say that? Based on the assumptions that we have, here it is. You just drop it in and it works. And then you can also verify a claim on the blockchain. You need to register a trademark. And then you could talk about, we put together a special offer for claim users. Man, anything kind of U.S. Office, so any domain that ends in .gov, legit. So people might be questioning, I don't know much about the blockchain, or I don't know if this is really going to work. But then you give them the option to, yes, we'll do all of the paperwork that will submit you to the U.S. Copyright Office in Washington, D.C., and it has a wait time, if you're lucky, of 6 months. That just sounds so protected. Like, that's what everyone else is doing for how they protect their intellectual property. So giving them the option, it allows you to have greater validity in being able to protect. So legally valid. I like all these points. Okay, so where would I go next? All the way in higher professional service. So things that I would do. Here's how I would go through the flow based on these assumptions, right? So if one of these assumptions are not true, people will not use it. So let's say most of these are true, but oh, I want the strike through. This one is not. And absolutely this one is not. So if these are not true, I'm into, or I'm into blockchain, crypto. So, assuming the rest of these are true, assume I don't know how blockchains work, and assume I don't know how to use dApp. This means that you have to teach me how this new technology works to give me what I want. And what I want is to protect my digital IP for free. So what that means is just to have more information. And we would talk about that with okay, you have to teach me how this new technology works to give me what I want to protect my digital IP for free. With claim by claim B. So these things are still true, so we don't need to talk about it in the same way, but we do need to talk about the amazing world that is blockchain and how do they get involved. So explaining, I don't need all the bolding, okay. Explain how blockchain is legally valid for protecting IP. Well, before we even do that, we have to explain what is blockchain. How is it valid? The timestamp hash thing. I'm assuming the encryption part is just related to security. So web security is not the same thing as I don't know anything about blockchain or crypto. So I'm not going to include that. I will include that this is on your permanent record. So blockchain is a permanent entity. So protect on blockchain. And it's on a permanent record. It can't be erased or changed. And dependent and verified. How does that work for the blockchain? Unique. You might even have to describe what a hash is. Hash the file creates. So if you teach me that I know what a copyright is, I know I'm looking for a free solution to protect my ideas, and I might be interested in further legal protections, official protections like trademark with the US blah, blah, blah office. If these things are true, you have to, and you explain to me what the blockchain is from a legal perspective. As in the industry. So people may have heard of the blockchain or crypto as related to currency or some kind of investment or money exchange, monetary units, but they may have not have heard about it as a legal ledger or any kind of ledger or bank balance. What is the blockchain from a legal perspective? This is high level. And then you can talk about how this is timestamp equals the hash, creates the unique footprint that says that it exists. Permanent record exists because it's on the blockchain, and that even if claim B goes away, it's still independently verifiable to anyone else who has access to the blockchain, and that is 8,000 other people. So it is not a single source of record like we have in our trusty U.S. Register Copyright Office, which is one entity. It is one organization with lots of people, long-standing history, but it is a paradigm shift to have the blockchain hold data like that. And it's not the only kind of data that is on the blockchain. So you can have all kinds. You can have different contracts. Rather than intellectual, you can have ownership. There's some people doing some really exciting things related to real estate for deeds, fractional ownership, healthcare records. So the world of blockchain is very exciting, but it is a different paradigm. So there's been doing some classes on quantum computing, and the way that they talk about quantum computing is as it relates or compares to classical computing, or and I was like, classical computing, and in my mind I'm like, what do I talk about that's classical? And I think about like cars from the 1960s that have the antique plates or the classic plates. That's how quantum computers relate to how we currently have computer processing power. It's in a classical state. So at some point, it is disrupted to the idea of quantum computing because it is not a single track. It is multiple to be able to process in parallel and create different ideas at once. So this is a mental shift. If you are not familiar with blockchain or what crypto does, this is the first hurdle to get over, because I'm not going to know how is the blockchain going to be legally verifiable if I don't understand what the process is. So if I am used to a 1960s Corvette, am I really going to be ready for a Tesla Autopilot Model 3 or something? Totally different. So that's really if you're in the shoes of someone who is looking for copyright protection, this is where you should start. Now, all of this can be okay. This can be on a separate page, or you can ask people interactively, like the bot. Where did we go? Patent bot goes through the process. So it only shows enough information to not overwhelm people, because if I'm on here, I must be already very tech savvy to know that a timestamp works as a copyright, that the blockchain can do that, and I'm ready to go. So the assumption is the person who is on this landing page for Above the Fold is entirely tech savvy, ready to go, have things that they want to, ideas they want to protect, digital ideas they want to protect. The likelihood that those are the only people who are interested in free copyright protection that exists on a permanent record that is independently verified is a much greater pool of people. And even though this is a free product, the ability to have the affiliate sale to an official trademark or copyright The other thing you can do is you can do a done-for-you consulting type of I'll walk you through how to do this. So even though they could upload a file themselves, uh, if you walk them through that process, all they have to do is get the file ready, and then you do like something remote into their desktop, and you drop it in for there, and you answer their questions. Maybe someone is willing to pay $29 for that. So this would be like a white glove service. I'm just making up a number. You could charge whatever you want to charge. You want to charge $10? You want to charge $99? We'll set you up to have your IP protected without doing that's it. Okay, option. And this would be they pay, they set up a time, and then you send them instructions for how you want to be able to remote in so that you can add in the MetaMask to their Chrome extension, how to set it up. You do it for them. You answer their questions. You make sure that they have the file ready, or the files, however many. So this could be a, we'll set up your IP, and then you can do as many as you want in one time. Now, I'm assuming people are going to have like 5 or 10, not 500. So this might be, that might be something. But this way, the other thing is that people like to know that there's someone that they can talk to, because they may not understand how does the blockchain, how is it 8,000 people are able to have the same information? And then send people away to learn to set up MetaMask. Help section. People through. I would also have a mailing list, because there may be people who are interested but who are not ready to register, but they'll put their, let's sign up for updates and news about ClaimBee. So if people are glad that the service exists, are they going to remember that it's called ClaimBee when they're ready to protect their intellectual property? Also, you can send updates for your special offers with for trademark copyright.